Wayfarers All, or The Phantom Coach, based on stories by Amelia B. Edwards, adapted for audio by Julia Warren, with Mark Tunstall, Clive Marlowe, Carter McQueen, Michael Cogan, David Spragg, John Martin, Dean Medek, and Kate Olenski.
I tell you it was so! My eyes could not mistake the situation.
And I tell you, sir, such an experience is as likely due to the fever. Nightmares and hallucinations can occur to those in your condition, yet seem as real and solid as you or I.
I was fully conscious. There was no nightmare. It truly happened.
An optical illusion.
You have misunderstood me then. And I must be a poor hand indeed at describing if I had not conveyed to you the horror I experienced.
Then try me, sir. Tell me exactly what you experienced.
Very well. But do not attempt to explain anything until I have reached the end. Will you give me your word?
I will. I will give you my word. Continue.
It happened this way, then. I'd been hunting all day with no sport to speak of. The wind was due east. The month, December. The place, a bleak wide moor in the far north of England. And I had lost my way. It was not a pleasant place in which to lose one's way, with the first feathery flakes of a coming snowstorm just fluttering down upon the heather, and the leaden evening closing in all around. Hello! Hello there! Nothing. Not a fence, nor field, nor even a sheep track. Nothing for it but to walk on and take my chance of finding what shelter I can. So I shouldered my gun again and pushed wearily forward, for I had been on foot since an hour after daybreak, and had eaten nothing since breakfast.
There you see, no food. This is what I mean. You had not eaten. That's weakening your system, which in turn affected your senses. It has been known to happen.
That is as may be, but this is all before I had eaten. How do you account for what happened to me after I had eaten? And you had agreed to restrain yourself from explaining.
Your pardon. Speak on.
Meanwhile, the snow began to come down with ominous steadiness. The cold became more intense, and the night came rapidly up. My heart grew heavy as I thought how my young wife was already watching for me through the window of our little inn parlour. We had been married 4 months, and that very morning when we parted, she had implored me to return before dusk, and I had promised her that I would. What would I not have given to have kept my word? Hey! Hello there! Help! Hello! Hello! A wavering speck of light came suddenly out of the dark, shifting, disappearing, growing momentarily nearer and brighter. Thank God!
What for?
Well, for you. I began to fear I should be lost in the snow.
Hey then. Folks do get cast away hereabouts from time to time, and what's to hinder you from being cast away likewise if the Lord's so minded?
If the Lord's so minded that you and I should be lost together, friend, we must submit. But I don't mean to be lost without you. How far am I now from Dwalding?
A good 20 mile, more or less.
And the nearest village?
The nearest village is Wyke, and that's 12 mile to other side.
Where do you live then?
Out yonder.
You're going home, I presume?
Maybe I am.
Then I'm going with you.
It ain't no use. He won't let you in, not he.
We'll see about that. Who is he?
The master.
Who is the master?
That's naught to you.
Well, you lead the way, and I'll engage that the master shall give me shelter and a supper tonight.
Hey, you can try him.
I know, Wyke. You had wandered far indeed.
So you will allow I was not wandering in mind, at least?
Well, I suppose not. But continue.
Is this the house?
Aye, it's the house. Down there.
This is a fine hall.
It suffices for our needs.
What is this under the cloth? May I?
If you must.
Why, it's a telescope! A huge one! Is the owner an astronomer, perhaps?
The bell's for you. Yonder's his room.
That door in the corner?
Aye.
Who are you? How came you here? What do you want?
James Murray, barrister at law, on foot across the moor. Meat, drink, and sleep.
Mine is not a house of entertainment. Jacob, how dared you admit this stranger?
I didn't admit him. He followed me over the muir and shouldered his way in before me. I'm no match for 6'2".
And pray, sir, by what right have you forced an entrance into my house?
The same by which I should have clung to your boat if I were drowning. The right of self-preservation.
Self-preservation?
There's an inch of snow on the ground already, and it would have been deep enough to cover my body before daybreak.
It is true. You can stay if you choose, till morning. Jacob, serve the supper.
Supper was, I might add, a substantial affair. Ham, eggs, a loaf of bread, and some excellent sherry. And on which I fell to with the appetite of a famished wolf. So you see, I did eat.
Well and good. That I understand. But what of your mysterious host? He begins to intrigue me. Was he an astronomer?
He may have been, for all I know. He certainly had an interest in the subject. There was, for example, a model of the solar system on the mantelshelf beside me, but there was also a microscope. And the room itself contained geological specimens, chemicals, crucibles, a galvanic battery. The floor was covered with maps, casts, papers, tracings.
A philosopher? A scientist, perhaps?
Over and over again, I looked from my host to his surroundings, asking myself who and what he could be. His head was singularly fine, but it was more the head of a poet than of a philosopher.
I have but the homeliest farmhouse fare to offer you, sir. Your appetite, I trust, will make up for the deficiencies of our larder.
I assure you, sir, that I have never eaten anything so delicious. He bowed stiffly and sat down to his own supper, which consisted of a jug of milk and a basin of porridge. We ate in silence, and when we had done, Jacob removed the tray. I then drew back my chair to the fireside. My host, somewhat to my surprise, did the same.
He ate only porridge and milk? He did not eat what you ate?
Indeed, no.
Curious. Very curious. I could suspect...
I imagine it was his habit. What do you suspect? That something was put in my food?
I confess it seems unlikely.
Or you would grab at it, or indeed anything, in effect, that would support your theory. But I shall continue.
Sir, I have lived here in strict retirement for 23 years. You are the first stranger who has crossed my threshold in more than 4 years. Will you favour me with a few words of information respecting that outer world from which I have parted company for so long?
Pray, interrogate me. I am heartily at your service.
You have noticed this, I think.
The galvanic battery? Indeed I have. You are a student of Faraday, I take it.
I have been. What more has he achieved in his area of study?
Why, well, aside from the use of electricity, I believe he devised a motor that can be propelled by electricity alone. He talked, and I listened, spellbound. I had never heard anything like it. Mesmer, Swedenborg, Spinoza, Descartes, Aristotle, Plato, by and by, I forget how, he passed on to the subject of ghosts, spectres, and supernatural appearances.
There, I knew it. Here, my good sir, is a prime example of the power of suggestion. Why, you spent an hour or more in this man's company, and your conversation led on to the topic of phantoms and ghosts. We are all suggestible beings, and it is quite possible that your subconscious, filled with this talk of the afterlife, created in your mind another reality. Why, I have an acquaintance of mine, Lady Fawkes, who spends a good deal of her time on seances and the like, and bless me if she hasn't convinced herself that her dead husband has appeared to her, returned from the afterlife.
Doctor, you made a promise you would not interrupt again.
So I did. Yet, I guarantee you will find... But continue.
The world grows hourly more and more sceptical of all that lies beyond its own narrow radius, and our men of science foster this fatal tendency. Take, for example, my own experiences as a young man, crossing the Alps in Switzerland with a friend of mine. Edgerton was his name. We began our tour on this occasion at Oderbrunn, a delightful place, half water cure, half hotel, far from the crowds, where we read, climbed, practiced our rusty German, and got ourselves ready for our tour. We started on a brilliant sunny day, as opposite to this snowstorm as you can imagine.
This, however, meine Herren, is only part of the old pass. It is ill-kept, for only those from Oderbrunn use it, but we shall strike the new pass higher up. A grand road, meine Herren, as fine as the Simplon, good for carriages all the way. It has been open only since spring.
The old pass is good enough for me anyhow. It's like a stray fragment of Arcadia. Let us rest here.
Yeah, it is good, but better still is the Mountain Inn, not 5 miles distant, where they sell good red wine.
Oh, that sounds excellent, and we can make it our midday halt. Come along, Edgerton.
Oh, very well. I am the only poetic spirit here, and must concede, I suppose.
What a view! What a view!
Deep, misty valleys, great amethyst mountains, streaked with slender waterfalls.
Poet's feast, an artist's banquet.
Does it not make you long for that idyllic life of the woods and fields, the life of the romantic?
You mean, don't I sometimes wish to be a Swiss peasant farmer, with sabot, a goiter, a wife without form as regards her person, and a grandfather who's 103 years old? Why, no. I prefer myself as I am.
Why take it for granted that no man can cultivate his brains and his paternal acres at the same time? Horace, with none of the adjuncts you name, loved a country life and turned it to immortal poetry.
The world has gone round once or twice since then, my dear fellow. The best poetry comes out of cities nowadays.
And the worst. You see those avalanches over yonder?
I see the smoke. We're too far away to hear them. What a brute of a thing nature is. Brutish and magnificent all at the same time.
Poor Lawrence.
Your brother.
Must be all of 12 years since he passed away. Switzerland was his dream. He longed for the Alps as ardently as other men long for money or power.
And he never had that longing gratified.
No. He was never out of England. They prescribe bracing climates now, I'm told, for lung disease. But not so then. Poor dear fellow. I sometimes fancy he might have lived, if only he'd had his heart's desire.
I would not let such a painful thought enter my head if I were you.
But I can't help it. My mind has been running on poor Lawrence all the morning. And somehow, the grander the scenery gets, the more I keep thinking how he would have exulted in it. Let us change the subject.
Good day, meine Herren. Fine weather for travelling. Fine weather for the grapes. You're going by the new pass?
Indeed we are.
Ach, Herrgott, a grand work, a wonderful work. And all begun and completed in less than 3 years. You see it today for the first time? Good. You have probably been over the Tete Noir. No? Over the Splugen? Good, good. The new pass is very like the Splugen. It has a gallery tunneled in the solid rock, just like the gallery on the Via Mala, with this difference, that the gallery in the new pass is much longer, and lighted by loopholes at regular intervals. You will be pleased to observe the view looking both up and down the pass before entering the mouth of the tunnel. There is not a finer view in all of Switzerland.
It must be a great advantage to the people hereabouts, having so good a road carried from valley to valley.
Oh, it is a fine thing for us, mein Herr, and a fine thing for all this part of the canton. It will bring visitors, floods of visitors. By the way, mein Herren must not omit to look out for the waterfall above the gallery. Holy Saint Nicholas, the way in which that waterfall has been arranged.
Arranged? Diavolo! Do you arrange the waterfalls in your country?
It was the Herr Becker, the eminent engineer, who planned the new pass. The waterfall, you see, mein Herren, could not be suffered to follow its old course down the face of the rock through which the gallery is tunneled, or it would have flowed in at the loopholes and flooded the road. What, therefore, did Herr Becker do? He permits the fall to come down its old way, but instead of letting it wash over the outside of the gallery, he pierces the rock vertically behind the tunnel, constructs an artificial conduit in the heart of the rock, and brings the fall out below the gallery, just where the cliff overhangs the valley. Now what do the English Herren say to that?
That it must certainly be a clever piece of engineering.
And that having rested long enough, we will push on and see it. Look!
Where? Oh, yes, some fellow travellers. Look at them, fast asleep.
All the best rocks have been taken for shade, and those knapsacks make mighty fine pillows. And if you look up ahead, behold the famous gallery. My host was right. It is something like the Splugen. But where is the waterfall?
Well, it's not much of a waterfall. I can just see it. A tiny thread of mist wavering down the cliff a long way on, beyond the mouth of the tunnel.
Aye, I see it now, a sort of inferior Stauberg. Heavens, what power the sun has up here. Mr. Kaufmann?
Ja, mein Herr?
At what time did you say we should get to Schwarzenfelden?
Ja, towards the 7th hour, not before then.
And it is now nearly 4.
3 hours more, say 3.5. Well, that will be a pretty good first day's pedestrianizing, heat and all considered. Odd. How did he get there?
How did who get there?
Why, that fellow yonder. Did you see where he came from?
What fellow, my dear boy? I see no one but ourselves.
Good heavens! Edgerton, where are your eyes? There! Straight before us, not a quarter mile off, making signs as hard as he can.
What sort of signs?
He's waving his arm and running towards us. Surely you see him now? Perhaps we'd better wait till he comes up.
Let me get my race glass out.
You see him now, surely. He stopped running, but his hand is still up.
No, I don't see anyone.
What?
Upon my honour, Frank, I see only the empty road and the mouth of the tunnel beyond. Here, Kaufmann.
Ja, mein Herr?
Look down the road. What do you see?
I see the entrance to the gallery, mein Herr.
Nothing else? You still think you see someone yonder?
I know that I do, or I am gone mad.
Take my race glass. Look through it and tell me if you still see him.
I see him more plainly than before.
What is he like?
Very tall, very slender, fair, quite young. Not more, I should say, than 15 or 16. Evidently an Englishman.
How is he dressed?
In a grey suit, his collar open and his throat bare. Wears a Scotch cap with a silver badge on it. He takes his cap off and waves it. He has a whitish scar on his right temple. I can see the motion of his lips. He seems to say, "Go back, go back." Look for yourself. You must see him.
No, it's of no use. Go on looking. What more, for God's sake?
Gracious heavens, he's gone.
Gone?
Aye, gone. Gone as suddenly as he came. Gone as though he had never been. I cannot believe it.
Ein Adler! Ein Adler!
Frank, you described my brother Lawrence. Age, height, dress, everything. Even to the Scotch cap he always wore, and the silver badge my Uncle Horace gave him on his birthday. He got that scar in a cricket match at Harrogate.
Your brother Lawrence?
Why you should be the one permitted to see him is strange. Very strange. I wish... But, there. Perhaps I should not have believed my own eyes. I must believe yours.
I will never believe that my eyes saw your brother Lawrence.
We must turn back, of course. Look here, Kaufmann. Can we get to Schwarzenfelden tonight by the old pass, if we turn back at once?
Turn back? My dear Egerton, you're not serious.
I was never more serious in my life.
If meine Herren wish to take the old pass, we cannot get to Schwarzenfelden before midnight. We already have come 7 miles out of the way, and the old pass is 12 miles farther round.
12 and 14 are 26. We cannot add 26 miles to our original 30. It's out of the question.
Meine Herren can sleep at the chalet where we halted.
True. I'd not thought of that. We can sleep at the chalet and go on as soon as it is day.
Turn back, sleep at the chalet, go on in the morning, and lose a full half a day with one of the finest passes in Switzerland right before us, and our journey 2/3 done. The idea is too absurd.
Nothing shall induce me to go on in defiance of a warning from the dead.
And nothing shall induce me to believe that we have received any such warning. I either saw that man or I labored under some kind of optical illusion, but ghosts I do not believe in.
As you please. You can go on if you prefer it, and take Kaufmann with you. I know my way back.
Agreed. Except as regards Kaufmann. Let him take his choice.
If the Herr Englishman had been warned in a vision, it is suicide to go on. Obey the blessed spirit, mein Herr.
Not I.
God grant you may come to no harm, dear old fellow.
I don't feel like harm, I assure you. I stood still and watched them till they were out of sight. At the turn of the road, they paused and looked back. When Egerton Wolfe waved his hand for the last time and finally disappeared, I could not repress a sudden thrill. He looked so like the figure of my illusion. For that it was an illusion, I did not doubt for a moment. I had talked with more than one eminent physician on this very subject, and I remember that each had spoken of cases within his own experience. But as for ghosts, pshaw! How could any sane man, above all, such a man as Egerton Wolfe, believe in ghosts? Reasoning thus and smiling to myself, I tightened the shoulder straps of my knapsack, took a pull of my wine flask, and set off towards the tunnel. It's like an nice house in here. I should say they're quite a feat of engineering. Why, the walls are of solid rock. And the moisture, it fairly streams down the sides. I can still see the opening the other side, but it looks a mile off. I must have covered more than that by now. Why, I must be approaching the waterfall behind the gallery. That sound is of its descent. My good gracious, the road is covered in water. Must be an inch deep. I do feel as much praised Herr Becker should at least have made his tunnel watertight. Clearly it leaks somewhere, and that it should have been suffered to go on leaking to the discomfort of travellers is simply intolerable. An inch of what? An inch, did I say? Gracious heavens! It's closing over my boots! It had become a rushing torrent. Never while I live shall I forget the agony of those next few seconds. The icy numbness seizing my limbs, the water rising, eddying, clamouring, pursuing me, passing me, the rush with which it leapt out into the sunlight like a living thing and dashed to the edge of the precipice. At that supreme instant, just as I had darted out through the echoing arch and staggered a few paces up the road, a deafening report, crackling, hurried, tremendous, like the explosion of a mine, rent the air and roused 100 echoes. It was followed by a moment of strange and terrible suspense.
They have excellent fish here too. Mountain fish, forelle.
Forelle? Forelle? Oh, I see trout. Ah, yes, indeed. That will do very well.
Very good. And perhaps with an omelette?
Why, yes. I think that sounds...
I hope you're ordering enough for 3.
Why, Frank! Great heavens, man, you're soaking wet. What happened?
Herr Becker's wretched engineering happened, is what?
There has been an accident?
Yes, your blessed tunnel has a leak. The whole thing exploded as I was walking through it. I was fortunate to find a rock to cling to, otherwise I should be food for the fishes by now.
Gott in Himmel!
By all that's wondrous.
The Swiss press rang with my escape for the next 9 days after the event. The Herr Becker was literally censured for his defective engineering, and Egerton Wolfe believed emphatically that his brother Lawrence had come back from the dead to save us from utter destruction. No longer satisfied with the idea that I had seen only a hallucination, I began to study the subject of such phenomena, and researched every account I could find. He who pauses before he pronounces is condemned as a trifler. He who believes is a dreamer or a fool. I, sir, paused, investigated, believed, and was not ashamed to state my convictions to the world. It is evident that certain events which, if they really happen as described, can only be considered paranormal. There are accounts of persons foreseeing events for which they had no cause to expect and could not possibly have foreseen from any data available to them.
Poppycock.
There are many accounts of a sane waking person experiencing the apparition of a deceased friend or relative who seeks to give a warning or prediction.
Absolute poppycock.
I myself have had one such experience. I too was branded as a visionary, held up to ridicule by my contemporaries, and hooted from that field of science in which I had labored with honor during all the best years of my life. These things happened just 23 years ago. Since then, I have lived as you see me living now, and the world has forgotten me as I have forgotten the world. You have my history.
It is a very sad one.
It is a very common one. I have only suffered for the truth, as many a better and wiser man has suffered before me. It has ceased snowing.
Ceased?
Yeah.
Oh, if it were only possible, but no. It is hopeless. Even if I could find my way across the moor, I could not walk 20 miles tonight.
20 miles tonight? What are you thinking of?
Of my wife! Of my wife, who does not know that I have lost my way, and who is at this moment breaking her heart with suspense and terror.
Where is she?
At Dwalding.
Ah, at Dwalding, yes. The distance, it is true, is 20 miles, but are you so very anxious to save the next 6 or 8 hours?
So very, very anxious that I would give 10 guineas at this moment for a guide and a horse.
Your wish can be gratified at a less costly rate. The night mail from the north, which changes horses at Dwalding, passes within 5 miles of this spot, and will be due at a certain crossroad in about an hour and a quarter. If Jacob were to go with you across the moor and put you on the old coach road, you could find your way, I suppose, to where it joins the new one.
Easily. Gladly.
The snow lies deep, and it will be difficult walking tonight on the moor. A glass of whiskey before you start. It's strong, but it will help keep out the cold.
Yon's your road. Keep the stone fence to your right hand, and you can't fail of the way.
This, then, is the old coach road?
Aye, 'tis the old coach road.
And how far do I go before I reach the crossroads?
Nigh upon 3 mile. The road's a fair road enough for foot passengers, but 'twas over steep and narrow for the northern traffic. You'll mind where the parapet's broken away. Close again the signpost. It's never been mended since the accident.
What accident?
Eh, the night mail pitched right over into the valley below, a good 50 feet and more, just at the worst bit of road in the whole county.
Horrible. Were many lives lost?
All. 4 were found dead, and t'other 2 died next morning.
How long is it since this happened?
Just 9 year.
Near the signpost, you say? I will bear it in mind. Good night.
Good night, sir, and thank ye.
I watched the light of his lantern till it quite disappeared, and then turned to pursue my way alone. How silent it seemed now, with only my footsteps to listen to. I walked faster. I hummed a fragment of a tune. I cast up enormous sums in my head and accumulated them at compound interest. Meanwhile, the night air seemed to become colder and colder, and though I walked fast, I found it impossible to keep myself warm. My feet were like ice. I lost sensation in my hands. I even breathed with difficulty, as though I was scaling some gigantic Alp. I was forced to stop for a few minutes and lean against the stone fence. As I did so, I chanced to look back up the road, and there, to my infinite relief, I saw... It's a lantern. Perhaps it is Jacob, following me. No, there's another light. They're carriage lamps. Who is out on the road? Or have I already passed the crossroads and the signpost? Perhaps this is the night mail coach after all. Here it comes. There's the guard and driver. One outside passenger. I am in luck indeed. Hello! Hello! Stop! I opened the door for myself and looked in. There were but 3 travellers inside. So I stepped in, shut the door, slipped into the vacant corner, and congratulated myself on my good fortune.
You stepped into the coach? You're certain of that?
As certain as I lie here. Ugh! What a smell of mildew! The coach seemed, if possible, colder on the inside than the outside, and was pervaded by a singularly damp and disagreeable smell. There were 3 fellow passengers, all men and all silent. They did not seem to be asleep, but each leaned back in his corner of the vehicle as if absorbed in his own reflections. I attempted to open a conversation. How intensely cold it is tonight. The winter seems to have begun in earnest. Although it was dim inside the coach, still I could see that his eyes were turned full upon me, and yet he answered never a word. I addressed my left-hand neighbour. Have you any objection to an open window? Have you any objection to an open window? He neither spoke nor stirred. I lost patience and let the sash down. Ah! Why, the strap is broken, and this window, I can hardly see through it for the mildew. I examined the coach more narrowly, and saw by the uncertain light of the outer lamps that it was in the last stage of dilapidation. Every part of it was not only out of repair, but in a condition of decay. The floor was almost breaking away beneath my feet. This coach is in a deplorable condition. The regular mail, I suppose, is under repair?
Forgive me. I beg your pardon. I should not have persisted. You need rest.
No, I am not unwell. It is just... when I recall it, my heart turns cold. When I spoke to him, the 3rd passenger, he moved his head slowly and looked me in the face without speaking a word. I shall never forget that look while I live. His eyes glowed with a fiery, unnatural luster. His face was livid as the face of a corpse. His bloodless lips were drawn back as if in the agony of death, and showed the gleaming teeth between. I turned to my opposite neighbour. He too was looking at me with the same startling pallor in his face and the same stony glitter in his eyes. I turned to the passenger on the seat beside my own and saw... oh heaven, how shall I describe what I saw? I saw that he was no living man, that none of them were living men like myself. A pale, phosphorescent light, the light of putrefaction, played upon their awful faces, upon their hair, dank with the dews of the grave, upon their clothes, earth-stained and dropping to pieces, upon their hands, which were as the hands of corpses long buried. Only their eyes, their terrible eyes, were living, and those eyes were all turned menacingly upon me. I flung myself against the door and strove in vain to open it. In that single instant, brief and vivid as a landscape beheld in the flash of summer lightning, I saw the moon shining down through a rift of stormy cloud, the ghastly signpost rearing its warning finger by the wayside, the broken parapet, the plunging horses, the black gulf below. The coach reeled like a ship at sea, then came a mighty crash, a sense of crushing pain, and then... darkness.
The shepherds found you in the morning, at the bottom of the ravine. They brought you here and I was sent for. The letters in your pocketbook showed us your name and address. Your wife was summoned to nurse you. You're lucky to be alive. Why, man, you were in a state of raving delirium with a broken arm and a compound fracture of the skull. Which all brings me back to my initial theory. that you veered too near the precipice, perhaps in the snowstorm, and fell into the ravine. Your delirium, brought on by concussion and the cold, then conjured up the whole sequence of events concerning the coach. It is the very stuff of nightmare, after all.
So my host and his servant Jacob are figments of my imagination as well, by your reckoning?
No, I grant you them. But perhaps the storm came on again after you left them. You mentioned it grew icy cold again. Perhaps this was...
We cannot agree on this. I suggest we leave the subject.
With pleasure. You have told your wife?
No, nor shall I. And I should take it as a boon that you do the same.
Indeed, you may be sure of that. And now I shall be on my way. I shall return later in the week, and your wife knows where to send for, if need be. But I am confident you shall be on your feet before the week is out.
Interesting case. A pity the fellow was so stubborn. But as a subject for a paper on delirium and related hallucinations, he would be excellent. And a good day to you, Lady Forbes. You must have returned early. Oh, that reminds me, I have that book of hers to return. I shall do that now.
Why, Doctor, what a pleasure to see you. All well, I hope.
Indeed it is. I came to return this for her ladyship. I hope she had a pleasant journey. I can, of course, come back later.
But, Dr. Drummond, Lady Forbes has not yet returned. Indeed, we do not expect her until next week.
But I don't understand. I just saw her in her carriage. She overtook me. And you're quite certain she has not arrived without you seeing her?
I do not see how that could be. But I will go and ask. Meanwhile, do come in.
Thank you. I shall wait in the drawing room.
Certainly, Doctor.
A curious day it is turning out. Such stories. And then the business with Lady Forbes. And am I imagining things now? Is hallucination contagious? If that is her ladyship arriving now. No, can't see anything from here. I feel increasingly uncomfortable here. Oh, deuce take it, what is a man to do? Do I wait or creep out? Sounds like something has happened.
Oh, Doctor.
So she has arrived then? I just heard the carriage draw up.
Oh, Doctor.
What is it? What's that you have there? A telegram?
The telegraph boy just came on his bicycle, sir. It's a Lady Forbes, sir. It says she died, sir, not 3 days ago at Rome.
But I saw her not half an hour ago in the carriage. Oh, there must be an error of some kind. They have mistaken her. And besides, what of the carriage?
What carriage, Doctor?
I distinctly heard the carriage and four come up to the house.
There has been nobody, sir, save you and the telegraph boy. Oh, my poor Lady Forbes.
Impossible. I heard it just now. Let me go and see. Where the devil has it gone? Here, you boy. You do not see a carriage and four ahead of you as you came up?
Me, sir? No, sir. Sorry, sir.
It's impossible. Impossible, I tell you.
In Wayfarers All, or The Phantom Coach, you heard Mark Tunstall as James Murray, Clive Marlowe as the surgeon, Carter McQueen as Jacob, Michael Cogan as Frank, David Spragg as Egerton, John Martin as Peter Kaufman the guide, Dean Medek as the landlord, and Kate Olenski as Lady Forbes's servant. And if you enjoyed our show, please visit us at talesfromthepennybloods.org and subscribe.